star of Somebody Somewhere, Emmy nominee, phenomenal human. Thank you for doing this, Jeff.
Sure. I feel like I should be the one introducing all of you. That's, you know, Michael and Liz, because they were just on the screen, and that's Jay Duplass, the director and co-writer of the.
So you guys are going to the first thing.
Yeah, thank you for the first day. This is awesome.
This is fun. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the movie, and then we're going to open it up to questions from you. So, you know, start thinking of them, and don't do that thing where you're like, this is less of a question, more of a comment. Make it questions. So just talk to me about the genesis of this project. You co-wrote it together, but how did that come about?
Well, during the pandemic, I was isolated and depressed, and this very gentle, tender, sweet man inside the body of a 1978 Chicago Bears linebacker started prancing across my Instagram screen.
I think I was doing like Buffalo Bill talks to his Alexa. So it'd be like, Alexa, and I'll be dancing to Goodbye Horses, just so you know if it was. Like, Alexa, where can I buy skin? And then Alexa would respond back being like, you can get skincare products at, I'm like, no, human skin. And Jay Duplass likes that humor.
It kind of broke my brain, which I needed at that time. And I just followed him. That's how it started.
And then I saw that he followed me, and I was like, holy crap, Didi follows me, this is awesome. And I was trying to make something, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a shot and send him a DM. And I sent him a DM in September of 2021, and wouldn't you know it, he got back to me 6 months later. And
I don't know how Instagram works. It's just because you're in media doesn't mean. I'm 52 years old, guys. I didn't know what DMs were. Someone explained it, and then I opened it up, and I was like, wow, I have a lot of work to do.
A lot of people are DMing me. And he, just was like, come over to my house and like, let me help you with it. And he took time out of his day, which like is very uncommon, I feel like, in our industry. And then
he showed up in a broken down Jetta. I looked out the window. He got out of his car. He was not wearing a shirt.
I don't have AC in the car, and it's LA, so it's hot. So I have 2 shirts with me at all times. One to wipe down myself, so I don't come in sweating profusely.
This, by the way, is exactly how Hollywood works. This is how they make every movie. This is a Marvel film, so it's just like this too.
Exactly, yes. And I see him out of the corner of my eye, and I'm shirtless, and I'm like, oh. Hey, Jay! Hey, good to meet you. Yeah, I'm gonna be in a second. Just gonna wiping myself down. We were gonna put that in this movie, but we shot in Baltimore in December, so it doesn't get that hot.
You still sweat.
I still
in
sweat,
Baltimore
yeah.
in December, though.
I do. But that's kind of how. And then what really happened was I took him out to lunch, and I thanked him for helping me, and I told him a little about my story and how I got sober. And 6 months later, he messaged me, or he called me, and he said, I want to back in somebody's life and do a movie, and you're the first person that came to mind. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, man, I've never been asked this question in my life. This sounds awesome. Me?
But also to get specific, the first scene in the film is true. It's an autobiographical origin story.
Yes.
And Michael told me over lunch, the reason I'm here is because the belt broke, because I was holding a little bit of holiday weight. And that,
Said you can laugh.
the tone of that joke, in my mind, I was like, oh wow, that's a movie right there.
And then, so the thing that you came with after the DM was a different project than this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. And then, how did you get involved in this?
Buffalo Bill.
I bought some skin. This one saw me in a musical in LA, and he was very sweet. And then he called me 6 months later out of the blue and said, "You want to have lunch?" And it was after the pandemic, and I was in kind of a low place. My father had just passed away, and it turned out Jay and my father had the same birthday, so that was kind of, I don't know, connected me immediately to him. And we talked about everything. We talked about getting older, we talked about our children, we talked about what we were going through at the time. And at the end of the lunch, he said, "Hey, you wanna make a movie?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And I went home and I said to my husband, "I will never hear from this guy again." And 3 weeks later, there I was, shooting.
3 weeks?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
something like that.
pretty insane. I mean, we were, I met with Liz like in November at the end of the strikes, and we had to shoot this movie during Christmas season in Baltimore. It's super low budget. If we had to recreate all those Christmas lights, it would have doubled the budget of the film. So it was a very ram jam situation, and long story short, I had not made an original movie in 14 years for a lot of reasons, and I had never made a movie without my brother, and it was just taking decades to do it. And so I just felt like when the strikes ended, I just felt like there was just so many calamities happening. I had to jump and we had to get on the ground in Baltimore, and luckily, these two incredible people were willing to do it and are tough as fucking nails because.
We're honored to do it.
Also, this one right here, I don't even like musical theater, guys. I was there because.
You're in the wrong city, bud.
Save it for LA, mister. I'll see myself out. Yeah, I was there. She was in the Transparent musical. It's a television show that I was in. I was required to go pretty much, but she just blew me away on stage. And when we met, Michael and I had been writing this character of Didi, but we're two straight white guys who are like writing for an older lady, and we had written it, but everything that Liz told me specifically about like starting to become invisible when you turn 50, all the facts of what you were saying started weirdly slotting into the backstory of Didi, and then helped me fundamentally understand who she was and where she was coming from. And so Michael and I started to write even more specifically for everything that Liz was, sharing with me.
What made you think like, oh, this character needs a Didi? Like I mean, that doesn't come from your life, right? I mean, that's.
No, I've never had an affair with a dentist yet.
Fingers crossed.
Where's my fiance? I think she is. Yep, there she is. Hey, she's saying no. Yes, and she actually plays Didi's daughter in the movie. Yes.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
So yeah, I mean, I had this idea floating around in my head for a really small independent film about somebody on vacation who's not enjoying their vacation with their family and cracks their tooth and has to have emergency dental surgery, and it takes all day, and they form just like some kind of relationship with the dentist. And so that was always in the back of my head. I don't know why we wanted it to be May, December. We just kind of knew we wanted it to be
different, like not just totally. I mean, I don't know, like.
Yeah, not just like. Look, can we get Jessica Alba? Can we get just
That would still probably May, December though.
I'm 52 years old. Okay, I told you guys. Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy. And so you shot this very quickly, right?
Yeah, we shot it in 15 days.
15 days is very quick.
It was very painful, but it was super, super fun, and it was truly just us running around on the streets of Baltimore with about 15 people. So it was kind of like a documentary crew.
And most of it takes place at night. So were these overnights?
Yes, they were overnights without trailers and without warming tents or anything like that.
Yeah, I think we did the first like 4 days of shooting were the daytime ones, and then we had like a break, and then they went all night.
It was so cold.
How cold
How cold was it?
It was so cold that those little hand warmers, you know, you can put in your rag pockets. I broke my hand warmers and had black all over because you can pop them.
Yeah.
You didn't know that because you've never done it. You've never been that cold. But I had black all over.
You had some on your nose too?
Yeah.
Oh, you look like kind of like Rudolph.
Yeah, the boat was like
So
18
cold.
degrees. It was unbelievable. The bottom of the boat kept freezing, and in order to remedy the situation, the crabber who was really driving the boat,
Kelly.
I drove that boat.
Yeah, you did drive the boat. Great driver, by the way.
Don't start.
Both boats and automobiles. Don't ask.
Oh, it's such a big joke. How bad a driver I am. It's such a joke.
You're not a bad driver. You're not the great driver that you think you are. Listen, when people from New York say they're good drivers, they're just not, okay? You guys don't drive enough to be good drivers. That's just what it is. Sorry. Strike two for me, I realize this.
Very good.
What was the question? God.
Did you have fun on set?
Yeah, he had to scoop ocean water onto the deck of the boat, and he was very used to getting wet out there in 18 degrees when we weren't, so he was just splashing us and all of our equipment as he would wet down the floor of the boat.
It was fun picking up that crab trap. I didn't have any gloves on either. It was just cold water. But it's what we love.
That's art. And then how do you map it when you're doing something that quick and you're just shooting that many scenes in one night? How do you map your character? Because they have such their relationship, it changes so much from the beginning to the end. There's such a huge arc. How do you craft that? Is that a dumb question?
Well, no. We kind of shot in order, but not really. We jumped around a little bit. But the biggest problem for me in being out of order was, even in being in order, was I kept saying to Jay, do I love him too much? Do I love him too much? Because I loved him so much immediately that I didn't want to show it too soon. So I was like, is that too much? Do I love him?
You know, it was like stiff arm, Heisman, go hard, hate his guts.
I know, you were like, dial it back, kid.
Can we talk about the bombing scene at the comedy club? Just tell me a little bit about, like, as someone who is a comic, it felt real and stressful and made my palms sweat. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I think, so we had shot that scene back in December, and it was fine. It was a good scene, but, you know, we wanted better.
Yeah, we had to reshoot it.
Yeah.
It was it was the hardest scene we had to shoot. We actually had extras that we had to bring in. We all didn't know exactly what we were doing when we first shot it, and we kind of knew that, and we acknowledged it, and we were hoping that it would come out great. It was basically what happened in the first scene is that you were scared to go up, you encouraged him, and then you went up.
It was all good.
And you did great, and you brought her up on stage, and you basically did a Chippendale dance for her. It was super fun and funny. But when we got the movie back home and we started editing it, we realized that we had kind of a missed opportunity. Because as Cliff had helped Didi kind of like walk into her heart of darkness, like the scariest scenario she could imagine, going to her ex-husband's, you know, Christmas party that's doubling as his wedding party, you know, and he kind of wins the day for her, that she had to really do that for him, and that he needed to really almost fail in that scenario. So it took us a long time to rewrite that. It's easily the most complicated sequence I've ever written in my life, and you know, there's probably 7 acts to it. It's just so many things happen, including like Bill Shakespeare shit towards the end, where they're kind of like sharing how they are starting to feel about each other through the mask of their characters on stage, you know. So that was like definitely the biggest reshoot I've ever done, the hardest one. but I think it makes all the difference in the world. I think it's the marquee scene of the movie, and it was very, very laborious, but like, and we also had to reshoot it in July in 98-degree weather wearing those jackets. Yeah. In an auto body shop with no AC.
Similar to my car.
Let's hope it encourages people not to go into improv.
Amen.
I say that as someone who did it for 25 years for free. Let's open it up to questions in the audience. I'm gonna run up like the 90s people. The Maury, yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I like it.
Should I stand? Yeah. Okay, fuck it, I'm up. I thought it would be really funny. I just had a quick question because obviously the character is an improv comedian, and just hearing you guys talk, you guys are all pretty funny. So of the lines in the scenes, how much of it was scripted versus how much of it was it just you guys kind of like leaning into the characters, kind of like going off the dome? Yeah, let's hear about that.
We wrote many drafts of the script, probably 7 to 8, many. And then kept rewriting on set as well, like, you know, the car scene, before I go into the improv club, we wrote that like 3 days beforehand, like wanting to make sure we have these in there. I would say Jay's best thing that he would say to both of us is like, okay, we have it, now let's fuck it up. And that's when, like, you know, we would kind of, you know, throw different stuff out, or, you know, I mean, he just always encouraged something different for me, because I come from an improv background that is like sketch comedy based, where it's like, okay, funniest stuff wins sometimes. This is more goal-based improv, which is what you kind of encourage, where it's like, okay, you know the scene, let's get to the end of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we just try and encourage people to do or say what they need to do to achieve their goals, and sometimes you need to change it up. And I think it's nice when the other actor doesn't know exactly what you're doing. But I mean, to be completely honest, what you see in the movie, probably 87 to 90% scripted. Maybe probably 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not really like, there's very little willy-nilly, you know, like the movie is obnoxiously plotted. I'm pretty obsessive about it. I just try to shoot it in a documentary way and have the actors be free. Look, here's the thing: is if really anything can happen in the moment, the audience will feel it. That's what I feel, and they will feel it. And so, even though we pretty much knew what we were gonna do, these guys knew that, like, I mean, especially Liz knew that, like, Michael might come with anything at any time. And I think that's part of what it is, and it makes it feel like real life and part of the electricity of their dynamic.
Great question.
I just kind of want to cry. That cast was so perfect.
Great question.
You were so, all these people are so exquisite. It was just, yeah. What
Thank
was your
you.
process?
A lot of nepotism. My family is all over this, in the smaller parts.
Yeah, you're the illegitimate son of Dick Butkus, I think, and so we just went on that relationship.
Exactly.
You know, I love these guys irrationally. I love their own stories. I encourage them to be themselves, and to kind of the first thing that I try to say to actors is, like, it's not your responsibility to do anything other than to be yourself and to behave naturally in these scenarios. And
But it's a testament to Jay, because he senses a quality that, like, he had no idea from meeting me or watching me in that musical that I could do this character, which is like opposite day of the person he saw me play. But he had a sense about the essence of who I was underneath it all, and that's what he went with, and that's what he went with everyone that he
And
has.
he also, like, we didn't chemistry read at all. Like, we didn't say any lines to each other before we got on set. So it was his decision to.
I'm a genius. That's how it works. No, it's just trying to work with authenticity and trying to be as just to find the deepest stuff all the time. And sometimes you just back right into it and it works out great. Like, it was expensive to get an improv theater. We had an auto body shop. Let's make it a pop-up show at an auto body shop. Holy shit, there's a gorgeous powder blue Cadillac in the air. This is incredible. It just worked out. On the other hand, Olivia Lucardi, who plays his fiance, who is a fucking dynamite, amazing actor, probably auditioned 50 people to get her. And there were plenty of people who were 90% good enough, but it was only Olivia that was 100% Baltimore, I will love you and destroy you, equal parts.
Oh, that scene where she has her phone on GPS.
I loved the movie.
Great question, keep it coming.
Really loved it. I loved what you're saying about love, and that here he is, he bangs his nose, or his tooth, and then his fiancée doesn't go with him, which kind of bugged me. And then they don't make a plate for him. Get something to, pick up something on your way home. And then she doesn't want to go to the comedy club with him when it's so important. And I liked how you talked about, we think this looks good because she was beautiful and sexy and really emotional and wonderful, and you could see how they'd have a sweet thing. But what he had with Liz was so much more, and it was improv, and it was constantly a surprise to me. But they were both saying yes to each other and no, right? That was fun. That was playful, and I love that. I love that that's what I got from it in terms of a comment on love.
Thank you.
Well, that was supposed to be our last question, but we'll do one last one because that was more of a comment. I'm just saying.
I appreciate it. I just recently started going through chemo, so I don't get out much. This was worth it. This is really good. Because last night I went 2 hours back. So last night. So I'm sorry.
Did you hear that, guys? This movie cures cancer. I just want to tell all your friends that this movie cures cancer, and oh, that's okay.
Anyway, so I'm starting with a comment leading to a question because I pay attention. But so it was. I just want to say it was like really difficult in the beginning, and just how it grabs you and pulls you in. It was just really exquisite how it did that. So that was my comment. And then my question. My number one thing in life is Shakespeare. I'm not an actress or anything involved. I'm in science. But anyway, you mentioned Bill, who I always call Will. So that rose my curiosity. So you must be a fan or something. Is there anything that you're thinking maybe he'll do one day?
Taming of the Shrew, right?
Yes. The Taming of the Shrew. I'm just a fan of plot. I am a huge fan of plot. This is probably too inside baseball, but in the early parts of my career, I was labeled like the godfather of this film movement called like mumblecore. It's weird to be the godfather of something that you didn't even decide to be a part of, but the only thing that I can say is that when you shoot a movie in a documentary style with very tremendously great actors and very real people, it feels like life is just unfolding, but the truth is that it is obsessively plotted, and that's what Shakespeare really is all about. It's like just tremendous plotting, and that's what I love the most. I just love telling stories where shit actually happens. And I like to shaggy it up so that it feels like real life, but that's kind of like my little secret, I think, about how these little movies feel alive, I guess, on some level.
And I don't like musicals either.
Oh.
Unless they're Shakespeare.
She doesn't like musicals either, okay, guys? So
we want to say all of you are monstrous New Yorkers who can't drive and like stupid theater. So thank you for coming out to this beautiful movie, and thank you for